everyone. I hope you're having a very good week. I hope everything is going well. This is now week 2. We don't have a video camera on today just because of time as it works out with schedules and what have you. So this will be more audio focused and you won't see my face at the very least. With week 1, overall, pretty okay. This is a new class for all of us, so feeling things out, seeing what the best way is to manage things. For the response videos on Discord, I would like us to think about being a bit quicker on the uptake on responding. We have class on Wednesday, and I would like us to have response videos before the next Wednesday. So it's something for us to bear in mind. As of right now, on the Discord chat room, there are 2. And I would like us to have more than 2. There should be 3. So it's something I want us to have up. And also, I would also like us to make sure that we are viewing them. And also, I want us to make sure that we're talking about them. One of the text channels is the video response discussion. I'd like us to talk about our classmates' videos to show that we are paying attention, that we are enjoying each other's efforts. So it's something I want us to work on more as we go along. But overall, we're quite well. Also, for the weekly quizzes, this past week, we had the it's a summarization of the second video in the lecture. And so far, today is Tuesday at 1:36 p.m. when I'm recording this. And so far, out of 27 students, 5 have submitted. And I gave you a little extra. I give you a little more time to finish. But I'm going to be shortening that time frame so we can keep clipping along at a faster and faster and faster pace. In the future, more and more of the quizzes, they'll just be simple multiple choice ones that we can just bang out. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. So let's make sure that we are participating because that is a large portion of our grades. It's what, 20%. So it is something important. Let's talk about learning management systems, or LMS. What is a learning management system? What does it do? How can it help us? And we're going to walk through a basic definition of what an LMS is, and also when it's time to choose an LMS, what criteria should we use? And we're going to take a closer look at one example of an LMS. And then we'll talk about response videos in the future. And that's what we'll talk about. All right, let's take a look and define what an LMS is, of course. So an LMS, I'm calling it that, but learning management systems, or system, depending, it can be pluralized or singular as you like. These are quite simple. Simply put, they are ways of managing learning online, over distance learning, and centralizing the learning administration system. So it's a way to centralize everything into one easy to log in and easy to handle environment, but also allows you to access access remotely. And of course, here at our university, we use eClass. eClass is an LMS, learning management system, and it has its own strengths and weaknesses, which we will be able to examine quite well. So what can an LMS do? It can help you directly communicate with students, with parents. It can help you keep a good handle on grades, on student development. It allows you to keep records in a central location quite easily. It can help you, instead of managing in the old days of everything on paper, it allows you to save things on a central server, on a cloud, and allows other people, authorized people, easy access and viewing of those records. So it allows a lot of better information sharing of that. Also, with LMS now, allows you to create assignments and evaluations and lessons that can be viewed and used remotely. So with the e-learning, LMS is an integral part of that. Well, what LMS cannot do, it can't teach by itself. You still need to make the lessons, and that's something to bear in mind. And it doesn't manage the students. It gives you more information, but it doesn't manage the students themselves. So let's take a look at if you're asked to recommend an LMS, what criteria would you use to judge, to choose one system over another? So here are a few. Here are a few factors, a few criteria to help. One, user interface. How easy is it for the user? That means you, the teacher, the administrator, the student, the parent. How easy is it for people to use the system? Not all systems are made as neat and clean as others. And we take a look at eClass. Sometimes it's a little difficult to go back and forth between classes. And it's easy to get confused between classes as well. So that is one factor. Then how clean it looks, how easy it is to look, how well is the information presented? How many clicks does it take to go from the front page into a specific menu of what you want to see? Does it take one click or two or three or six even, depending on what you need to see? And so it's something that's a factor we really need to pay attention to, is how clean it is. Also, how uniform it is over different environments. I'm old, so I use the desktop a lot more. I prefer using the keyboard and mouse. But nowadays, as we can see with with YouTube, most people use their phones, their smart devices. And so with LMS system, is it usable in different environments over different devices, on desktop computer, on a PC versus a Macintosh versus an Android phone versus an Android tablet versus an Apple phone versus an Apple tablet versus an Apple laptop? Can you use the LMS system over all of those environments? And that is something very important. Is eClass usable over your phone? It's usable, yes, but is it easy to use? Is it designed for that environment? And for me, it's not. It's not a good substitute. I don't like using eClass on my phone. I prefer to use the website on my desktop computer. So this would be an example of it's not uniform and accessible over the multiple platforms. Then something else that's quite important is app and cloud integration. Are you able to connect with cloud drives and allow easy downloads? If you have Google Drive or Naver Drive or Kakao Drive or Dropbox or what have you, are you able to create materials and connect it easily to the LMS? Or are you limited? Because, for example, on eClass, we have you're able to upload files, but there's a hard file limit, and that is, well, quite literally limiting. There's also download limits, the size or the number of downloads or time limits. Those can all be issues. So how integrated, how connected, how easy it is to use with different devices and different cloud services, or different cloud services. And something that's very important is communication. How easy is it to communicate over the LMS? How easy is it to communicate over eClass? Now, there's different levels of communication. There's teacher. Well, what communications do the teachers need to make? Teacher to teacher and teacher to student, teacher to administrator, teacher to parent. So those are all important levels of communication that you need to take care of. And so that's something you need to bear in mind when we're looking at LMS. Also, when we're creating assignments and submitting assignments, is that easy to do? Can it all be done internally? If I, for example, assign you homework, can I create the assignment on eClass and you submit it on eClass all internally? Kind of, yes. We are able to use eClass for assignments. We can create assignments and then you submit them on there. It's not the best, it's not the prettiest, but it is functional. And that's something that we need to. Now, for us at university level, parents don't really come into it, but elementary school and middle school and high school, parents do play a significant role. Are parents able to use the LMS? And for eClass, the answer is no. Students are, and the instructors are, but parents are not. But other LMS systems, parents are able to, whether they're able to at least receive communication through email or they have their own login information and they can log in and access the LMS system in a specific role, in that they're able to see their children's information, their children's teachers, and what they're most concerned with. And then that's something to bear in mind, something we should be concerned about, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. Are parents able to get the information they need? Then also students. Are teachers able to send messages to students in specific and general ways? Then also the inclusion of co-teachers. In our LMS system, I am isolated from other instructors. Even with like a class like EP1, which with the co-teaching, I do not actually coordinate. I can't communicate with Professor Pacmier at all over eClass. I have to go outside of the LMS. We're both on it, but we are isolated from each other. So that's a factor to bear in mind. Especially in elementary school, when you'll have the homeroom teacher and the different subject teachers. A good LMS will allow you to cooperate and communicate and share information, communication, student profiles. So the students' informations will be comprehensive for all the teachers to see and to use within the LMS system. And then also, an important factor for judging LMS is administrative ease. Are you able to handle grading, feedback, take in new students easily? And this is also where students' privacy becomes an issue with legal matters. But just for now, is it easy to handle grades? Some LMS, it can basically be done automatically as you enter the grades. For example, they'll take a test, an exam online, and the grades are automatically uploaded and calculated on the LMS, and that's it. You're done. Others you have to do them manually. Also, can you integrate new students in an easy fashion? Those are things to bear in mind. Then also, gamification possibilities. We're going to talk about gamification a bit in more detail later on. But I think you probably should have already heard about it a bit in your in your theory classes. How we gamify processes, and especially how education has been gamified. LMS allows us to gamify learning and gamify behavior in a great many ways, and we're going to take a closer look at that in a little bit. So are you able to use gamification? Are you able to award prizes, badges, create and reward or encourage or discourage certain behaviors over the LMS system? And are students able to be aware of this? And are parents able to be aware of this? With that, let's take a look at Class Dojo. You might be a little familiar with this from before. I did use it as an example. Class Dojo is a kind of LMS. It's a kind of learning management system, but it focuses a lot more on student behavior and not on grading. itself. So here's us. You all have avatars. Each student has their own. There's of course the teacher profile, there's a principal profile, administrator profile, there's student profiles, and there are parent profiles. I use ClassDojo to help communicate directly with parents and students and give direct feedback on their behavior. So students were able to make their own profiles, and parents were able to make their own profiles so they could see how their students are doing. I'm going to use this as an example. If we, for example, we see that Samina, she did her response video. So we find Samina, there she is. We have positive behavior and we have needs work. Negative is it's just not a happy word. So negative behavior, we give her working hard. And I think you heard that sound too. A nice, positive, bing, like it was a nice sound. She did a good job. But needs work. We have, we get the behavior that we want to discourage. I put the phrase being mean, and there's point weight, and you can give warnings, or depending on the severity of the behavior, -1 or -5, things like that. And this is all customizable. So let's say this, and all right. So let's see. Samina, she's working hard, but she was also mean about it. And there's a negative sound. It's not a very, it's not a big sound, but it's there to inform and also, and try to acclimatize students' behavior. They want to hear the nice sound and they want to not hear the bad sound. Now, the thing is, with elementary school students, especially their parents, their mothers in particular, really want to know these things. And so when I used ClassDojo before, when teaching elementary school students, a good number of mothers, they made the app. They downloaded the app and used it, the parent account. So when I gave points to students, the mothers, the app told them that their child got positive points, and when they got negative points too. And they were able to send messages here, and you can see here on the screen. Obviously none of your parents have joined, but this would allow direct communication with parents, invariably it was mothers, and talking about their students and how it worked. And it was nice. It was nice to be able to talk directly, because you go through layers and things can get missed. So what is ClassDojo good for? ClassDojo is good for behavioral gamification. You want to encourage things, working hard, teamwork, helping others, participating, persistence, on task, doing good things. Or if you want to, it helps also keep a record of, I'll just use the word negative behavior. And it allows us to keep a track of this behavior and encourage it. And with the points, we're able to keep track. Students compete with each other who can get the most points. And when I taught elementary school students, every month we'd wipe the points. And the students with the most points, the top 3 students, they got small prizes. So students were encouraged to get points. A nice little thing that ClassDojo had is that students were able to customize their avatars, their monsters, however they liked it. Or, if I remember correct, I think I still have it. Yes, I was able. There are what are they called? Tile sets. Yeah, people have made different avatars. So, for example, here's Wolverine, and so So now Kangminjin is not just a monster; she's the Wolverine, and so it's a nice piece of ownership of who they are and what they want to be. So, in that regard, Class Dojo is nice. But what is Class Dojo not? It's not a grading system. You can't keep track of assignments. You can't keep track of progress. It's just behavior by itself. It has some other things. In tools, you have a timer, group maker, random, noise meter if you're connected to the app, directions. Think today, music. It has its tools, but it's not as it's not the administration side is not as helpful, but it allows you to do some certain things that are helpful in the classroom itself. But it's not a comprehensive learning management system. So if you had asked me, is Class Dojo good for the entire school as the be-all, end-all, all-in-one product for LMS, I would say no. It is helpful for classroom behavior. And what we used to use it with as well, we used to be able to use Class Dojo to share information because we worked at an elementary school, so we taught the same children. And so we were able to share points in many different ways and also make posts and see how it is. And if you look at the screen, you can see how it used to be. This was 4 years ago now. These kids are grown up. And so it's something that's helpful it was helpful for us to keep track of students and to encourage students to behave well and to speak more directly with parents, which was a problem we had at that elementary school for us, the foreign teachers, the native speaking English teachers. All right. For the response video, 3 students are going to examine a different LMS system. And you'll need to go online and find them. You can take some of the very famous ones are called Moodle, and Canvas, Google Classroom, Schoology. Some of these are free to use, like Google Classroom, and some of these are paid to use. I don't want you to take a deep dive. I just want you to learn about them a bit and try to judge. Try to learn what the one LMS platform, what it's good at and what it's bad at. And then try to make a recommendation if that LMS platform is good for use in a Korean elementary school. And I want you, the 3 students who are chosen, to make a short video of 2 minutes or less, around 2 minutes long, explaining what the platform is, what's good about it, and what's bad about it, and if you recommend it to be used in a school. All right, with that, that's all we have for this week. A brief overview of what we can expect from learning management systems. The students who need to make response videos, please get started on that. And hopefully this week, we'll be able to talk about it in Discord, not just look at videos. Hopefully. But we'll see how that goes. If you have any questions, please ask on eClass or Discord. That works too. And then we'll have another week with a video. Then we'll see each other in person on week 4. And I'm super excited to see you again. Have an excellent week. Stay safe and goodbye.